I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand, who is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and runs away, and the wolf snatches them and scatters them. The hired hand runs away because a hired hand does not care for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that do not belong to this fold. I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock, one shepherd. For this reason the Father loves me, because I lay down my life in order to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down on my own accord. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. I have received this command from my Father. Through these words, our God is still speaking.
Thanks be to our still speaking God.
You may be seated. Reckless is a good word to describe God's love. Just as in the story that we call the prodigal son, it should probably be called the prodigal father. Yes, the son does give out and spend all of his money, but it's the father who is the prodigal. He's the one who gives it all away. He gives it to his son before the time, and when he comes back, he gives him a party. He does everything for him. And the shepherd does seem reckless. He leaves the 99 and goes after the one that is lost. Reckless. It's not something that we think about as part of our Christian walk, that we are called to be reckless. But we are. We are not called to do what is safe. We are called to give ourselves in love as God has given in love. We take stands that are not popular. We preach a way that goes against the grain of people. We say it is not what you have and who you know that matters, but rather it's who you are and what you give that makes the big difference. It is taking chances. It is treating with love and respect those around us who may not treat us that way. But we don't treat people as they treat us. We treat people as God treats us, which is in love and care and respect. For that is how God sees us. God respects us. God does not call us to do things that we are not capable of doing. God does not call us to do things that make us unhappy. God may call us to do some things that are scary to us, but we find when we do them, we can do them and they make us happy. God invites us, never compels us. Because God does not use the power of might, but the power of love. not which forces and pushes, but that which draws and brings us. And God invites us to live in that same way. I used to almost always wear a full collar instead of a tab collar. I still wear them some, but I normally wear tab collar just because it's a lot more comfortable. So I like it for that reason. But I always liked the image of the full collar, you know, the whole white that goes all the way around. In England, they call them dog collars. And I like that. That's what I call it. This is my dog collar. Because, see, I am not the shepherd of a congregation. There is one shepherd, and that is Jesus. I am not the shepherd. I am Jesus' sheepdog. I am here listening to the voice of the shepherd, trying to figure out what it is the shepherd needs the flock to do, where they need to go, so that they can get fed and watered and be brought into safety. And I am there to help carry that out. You know? So sometimes I need to go and kind of nip at the flanks and get the flock moving the other direction. And sometimes I'm just on the lookout for what's going around and what's going on. But there's only one shepherd, and we need to hear his voice, and we need to follow him. And know that it is not all about safety. You don't have to read much of any of the four Gospels to understand that Jesus was not real concerned about safety. He left home, wandered around, depended on the goodwill of others, spoke up against the religious authorities when that was called for, as well as the political. And even as we recounted just a few weeks ago, went to the very heart of the powers that be and said no to them. They crucified him, but God had the last word, because we are celebrating Easter. That the way of God's reckless love is the way of power, is the way of life, is where we need to be. There are all kinds of folks out there who want us to follow them. Celebrities and sports figures and politicians who all are trying to convince us to follow them. Sometimes they have good things to say, sometimes not. But we have a shepherd. And it is good when there are those who reinforce the shepherd's voice and help us hear it. But we have to be very discerning and listening. Is this really what Jesus is calling us to do and to be? Or do we need to be a little reckless and say, no, we're not going that way. We're going to take a different stand. We're going to take a stand that we think our shepherd wants us to take. And we are going to follow him. And it may seem like the wilderness, but we know our shepherd. And we know that we do not need to be afraid. Because our shepherd goes with us and brings us life and peace and joy. Because there is nothing stronger than God's love. And as we share that, we become strong, full of life, full of joy, and full of peace.